Hey y'all, so I apologize in advance for the background noise. I am in the car and I don't have one of those cute little portable mics, so I'm gonna try to get it together with some post editing. But I wanted to come and talk to you guys about, especially for my women, my women of color at that, we have to prioritize rest. We have to prioritize ourselves. I feel like we are in a culture where, especially right now, we are the breadwinners. We are the highest growing number of entrepreneurs. We are the highest growing number of degree holders. And as much as the world doesn't want to admit it, we've kind of just, as a gender, taken over. You know what I mean? And we get some pushback for it, and I'm sure I'll do an episode on that as well. But I just wanted to, especially for us moms, us just people, just women in general, we owe it to ourselves to rest. I know a lot of us have been conditioned into feeling like the minute that we sit down, and this for myself has stemmed from my childhood, the minute that you sit down, the minute that you feel like, okay, I can relax, I can fall into myself, I got a little bit of peace and quiet. It's almost like you're waiting on the catch, because that's how we grew up. You know what I mean? So today I wanted to get into why we struggle with this so much and what we can do about it and how we can sew back into ourselves and get back to ourselves. I also did another episode on main character energy, and I would love for you all to check that out, because that definitely falls back into this same category here. Let's be honest. How many times have you felt guilty for resting? Like, you could be dead ass exhausted. You finally give yourself some time to relax, and your mind is telling you, I should be doing something productive. I don't have time to slow down. You know what? Let me just push through this and I'll rest later. What we need to understand and come to terms with is rest is productive. It's not a reward. It's not something that you have to earn. It's literally a necessity. And if you keep waiting for the right time to rest, your body will eventually make the time for you. And let me tell you, it is not fun. I have been there. I have ended up hospitalized, my kidneys tripping on me. I'm talking about fever, chills, body tearing me up because I did not give myself time to rest. I'll never forget, I went through this period in time where I was kind of running away from my problems. So my grandfather has just died. I had lost a couple of friends. I was going through some issues in my relationship. And my way of dealing with that was working. Y'all, by the time I looked up, I had worked for like 27 days straight. I'm talking about no off days, none of that. And I was so delusional that I couldn't even properly park my car. I had to have my auntie's boyfriend at the time come downstairs and park my car for me. It was that bad. I can do hair with my eyes closed. So the quality of everybody's like hair services and stuff didn't go down. But you got to think on top of that. So I'm not pouring into myself. And in the little bit that I do have left, I'm giving that away to everybody else. So where do I come in? Why am I not making any time for me? Baby, burnout is not the vibe. Okay? There is no right time to rest. At all. There's no such thing. Get it in where you fit in. I know I have this bad. I think I talked about this in another episode where I said, for myself, okay, it may not necessarily be for me taking a nap. But rest for me, if I want to do what I call have a productive rest, would be just to sit on my couch, record an episode. Because for me, that's like healing for me as well. So, I always talk about that when I created this platform, it was a way for me to work through my own shit, but in a place where I knew that, okay, I'm not the only person going through this. So if I know I didn't go through all the things that I went through for nothing, so let me help other people feel heard and validated as well. So today we're going to get into why rest is just as important as the work, how to start prioritizing it, and why slowing down does not mean you're falling behind. Why do we feel guilty about rest in the first place? For a lot of us, it comes from hustle culture mentality. We literally grew up hearing no pain, no gain. A lot of us were conditioned to think that if we were not grinding, we were not growing. I think that this is huge in minorities. Huge. I rarely ever saw my dad sit down. My dad would literally go work a 9 to 5, come home. He's working on people's cars and shit. He still got kids to take care of. And he was a single father, a mortgage, all of that. And I still, to this day, I don't know where, if he ever made any kind of time for himself. Social media makes it even worse because, now they got the 5 a.m. club, and that's cool. I respect it. That is, productive for some people. But for me, why would I wake up at 5 a.m. when these kids got to be up at 7:30? That's too much on me and my body, especially because I'm a person that I enjoy the late night. Like once I got my house clean and everybody's in bed and I've gotten the house settled down, that's my time for me, because now I don't have to worry about the mommy this, the mommy that. Nobody's waking up, early. I don't have to deal with that. I do get up a little earlier than the kids do in the morning, but there's sometimes, like my baby girl, she can smell me. I swear to God, I feel like she can smell when I'm awake. And she's been like that since she was an infant. So if I get up at 5 o'clock, I guarantee you, Miss Mamas is going to be shuffling into the living room at no later than 5:15. That's just how she is. The strong black woman expectation. If y'all know, y'all know. So many of us was raised seeing the women before us push through. It's literally been our culture. They've been pushing through exhaustion like it was a normal thing. We learned to be strong, independent, and always available for others, but rarely for ourselves. Another thing that I had really bad was tying my worth to my productivity. I felt like I was only doing well when I was busy. So now I have a saying for myself that booked and busy is cute until you're booked and burnt out. And honestly, you're not giving your best. You can't. You have not replenished yourself. You're not doing your best work. You're probably not as nice of a person as you think you are. Your body is screaming for help. Like, what do we get out of that? And I feel like in a regular everyday life, we're already overworked and burnt out depending on our family dynamics. So why add more of that to yourself? Rest feels lazy because we've been taught that grinding nonstop is success. Your worth is not measured by what you do. You don't have to run yourself into the ground to prove that you're valuable. You are enough, even when you're resting. Understand that burnout is not the goal. Okay, this is not a workout session. We literally have a bad habit of not taking rest seriously until we are literally forced to. Here's what happens when you constantly ignore your need for rest. You start feeling tired all the time. This was my life, I want to say, up until recently. Now I'm in a space where, I've been doing so much healing that my body is no longer in fight or flight. And I've been learning to self-validate and remind myself that, hey, I know that people made you feel like taking care of yourself was a very arrogant or selfish thing to do, but you owe it to yourself. So my body be like, girl, we need sleep and we need it now. And we don't care about who feel whatever about it. Sit your ass down somewhere. Your creativity and motivation disappear. I went through this too. Like I went through a series of burnout in my, hairstyling business where it got to a point where it wasn't even fun no more. And I was like, well, damn, do I need to retire? Like, I'm tired of doing box braids all day long. Whereas I used to get excited and be like, oh, these parts finna be clean, this, that, and the third. And it got to the point where I didn't want to be bothered with nobody. I didn't want to see nobody. I was like, give me a work from home desk job. I'm out of here. You get irritated by the small things. This was huge. I was snapping on my family members, my babies, and couldn't even tell you why. And I had to eventually look up and say, you know what, mommy's tired. I'm sorry. Y'all didn't deserve that. I just wasn't cognitively there like I should have been. Your body starts showing signs. You start having headaches, body aches, random exhaustion. Went through this as well. I would literally wake up and be like, why the hell does my back hurt the way that it does? Why am I getting these headaches out of nowhere? Muscle fatigue. Like, it was crazy. You start to feel emotionally drained, even from the things that you enjoy. It's like, low-key, the best way that I possibly think about it is you're literally putting yourself into a state of depression. And you don't even realize that you're doing it. Like, I don't think that people understand that Lack of sleep is literally a torture tactic. Or I don't know if I've spoken about this on here, but I definitely talked about it on threads where there are narcissists that will literally mess with your sleep and put you in this weird state of psychosis and then sleep like babies after they've disrupted your whole life. This is not normal. It's not a badge of honor to be busy. Rest is not a weakness. Burnout is not the goal. So let's flip the script. Instead of thinking of rest as being lazy, let's talk about why it's actually productive. Rest helps you think clearer. Have you ever noticed that your best ideas come from when you're relaxed? I always say I get my best ideas in my sleep. That's because your brain needs space to create, process, and recharge. Rest makes your work better. When you slow down, you actually become more efficient and focused when you come back to your tasks. Rest helps you show up fully. When you're well rested, you have more energy, patience, and presence for yourself and the people around you. Rest prevents breakdowns. Your body will force you to rest if you don't take it yourself. Whether it's sickness, burnout, or a mental health spiral, pushing too hard always has consequences. So the next time that you feel guilty for resting, I want you to remind yourself that you are actually doing something very valuable. You are recharging so you can show up stronger. So now that we know how productive rest can be, how can we actually start making this a priority? Here's some ways to protect your peace and stop feeling guilty about rest. Schedule rest like you schedule work. If you plan meetings, deadlines, workouts, why not schedule time for rest? Treat it like an important appointment. I had to learn this even as a hairstylist. I would work, and just be solely drinking water and coffee. And then wonder why I was so jittery and weak feeling when I had to start scheduling like lunch for myself. Schedule breaks. Why not? What could it hurt? Unplug and set boundaries. Social media and constant notifications keep us in go mode. Give yourself permission to log off, put your phone on D&D, and just exist. This has been major for me. If I don't want to answer my phone, child, I don't. Oh, I called you. I know, I saw it. I was relaxing. You owe that to yourself, because people will literally take all of what you have to give and then feel away when you don't have any more after that. So always keep that in mind. Make rest feel luxurious. This is something that I did when I separated from the kid's dad, and I do feel like I owe it to myself to do a little more often. But what that means is, romanticize your rest. Take naps without guilt. Have a slow morning. Put your phone on, light candles. I was going to say put your phone on D&D, but I already said that. Light candles. Play soft music. Wear a comfy robe. This is something that when I had separated from the kid's dad the very first time, this was something that I would do. So my room was pink. I bought myself a brand new bed. It was this bed that I was always wanting. I would take nice, scorching hot bubble baths. I'd be in there as long as I wanted to be. When I would shower to rinse off, I would take time. I wasn't rushing out of there. I used my favorite soap. I used my favorite lotion. I would tell myself how much I loved myself, how grateful I am for my body. God, thank you for my legs. Thank you for my arms. Thank you for healthy nerve endings where I can feel how good it feels to lotion myself up. Thank you that I have the mobility to do so. Hey, self, thank you for just existing. I'm so proud of us. I'm so grateful for us. Whatever that sounded like or looked like, And then I would lotion. After I lotioned up, I put on my favorite perfume. Why not smell good on your way to bed? I put on my favorite perfume. Bought me a nice silk or fleece robe. Had some slippers, whatever it was, a glass of wine, journal, whatever it is. Remember, rest is not always you having to just go knock out and go to sleep. It's really about just prioritizing you, slowing life down, slowing your body down. We're so on go all the time, and we're so worried about everybody else that we don't give ourselves all of what we need or even deserve. Listen to your body. If you feel exhausted, honor that feeling. Your body speaks. Stop ignoring it. I've gone through this when it comes to school. So there's times where I'll be in a class and I'm just looking at, the textbook and the words are floating off the page. Why am I doing that to myself? That's stupid. So I'll tell myself, okay, what needs to be done today? What is prioritized for today? Once I get that done, baby, computer closed. They're going to have to catch me tomorrow. Stop explaining yourself. This is big. I went through this, we talked about multiple times, my history of child abuse. And that made me so unsure of myself. That made me have to explain my every move. With the kind of mother I had that was as critical as she was, I felt like I needed to be understood every time I made a decision. You don't owe anybody an excuse for resting. Because I need to is a full sentence. You have nothing to prove. The most successful people understand that rest is a strategy, not a weakness. So start treating it like one. I asked y'all on Instagram how you feel about rest. And a lot of y'all said that y'all still struggle with it. So let me remind you, you don't have to earn rest. You deserve it simply because you exist. So today, I challenge you to take a break without guilt, say no to something that drains you, and do something just for yourself, whether it's a nap, a long shower, or watching your favorite show in peace. Because rest is productive, it's powerful, and it's something that you deserve. If this episode spoke to you, let me know. Drop a Z in the comments if you're committed to resting without guilt from now on. That's it for today's episode of The Good Homegirl. I would so appreciate if you would subscribe, leave a review, follow me on social media. All of my socials are the same to keep the conversation going. Until next time, get your rest and protect your peace. Bye, y'all.